So I will introduce myself first. You know who I am, but
Yes,
that is a recording, and maybe you want to listen to the next. So my name is Natan. My last name is Hoefnagel. It's a Dutch name. Maybe you will say I should pronounce it Natan or something like that. Yeah. I work as a teacher and researcher at Hazard University, and I came here about 2.5 years ago from my previous job. I moved here. And as you said, you implied that I studied marine biology. This is true. I studied in Groningen, which is in the north of the Netherlands. I studied marine biology. At that time, it was the only university in the Netherlands where you could study marine biology. So for study choice, that was easy because I wanted to study marine biology and there was only one option. And I really loved it there because I was able to study life. I wanted to study life always, as all my life, and I thought that everything that happens below the water, you cannot see it when you're walking around, and I thought it was super intriguing, so I wanted to study it. I myself am quite a fundamentally interested guy, so I just want to know what's there, how does it work, why does it do what it does. So I thought marine biology was a perfect type of study for me.
But earlier on, did you consider any other paths, maybe even in the same sort of area?
Yeah. So I went to some open days, and I was considering ecology, which is very similar, but it's a different track. But I also went to an open day of journalism. I thought it's also kind of research, so I thought let's see what they have there. But then I knew I wanted to do something with living things, animals and plants. Yeah.
All right. So does your education sort of affect how you look at the ocean now?
Well, yes. I think at one side, on the one hand, it strengthens my feelings that there is super interesting stuff going on down there, and the more you learn, the more interesting things you discover. Also, and I like this when I'm teaching in the Marov, the maritime officer, like captain studies here at HZ. They captain of a ship, and for them it's kind of an eye opener that the ocean is not just like a highway for ships. There's stuff going on. So being aware of what's going on, it helps you, or it changes your perspective. And for water management, since I moved here, an important change in that is that it's not just a highway, it's not just like a zoo where you can find interesting things. There's also people interested, and there are stakeholders, and there is a management and government going on, and citizens and nature itself. So all of that together, I think I learned that much more in the past 2 years than before.
All right. Was there any reason you chose to work at HC specifically?
Well, I was looking for a job, and then this vacancy came along, and I thought it was a very good combination of research and teaching. So I was trained as a researcher, but I always liked teaching as well. So here they offered me a job to do 50-50, and I thought that was perfect for me. So I had to move all across the country because I was in Groningen, and then I moved to Middelburg, which is like the furthest distance you can do in the Netherlands. But I'm very happy that I made the move and that I'm now working here. Yeah, so after I applied, they said, well, we offer you a teaching position, we'll see about the research, and then later on, they allowed me to find a research group to contact and to join. And then I looked in one of the groups, and I found out that they were doing some interesting research, but I didn't really fit with the group. So then I got another offer or opportunity to work with aquaculture research group, and then it turned out that they worked with the same ecological model that I also learned earlier on in my career. So that was just perfect. So now I'm also in the research group aquaculture.
What was the first research group?
The first research group is Building with Nature, and I'm still working with them in one of the modules. So module 8, you'll see that in the second year, the end of the second year, if you choose ITA track. Then we go to Ierseke, which is like half an hour by car, and we use one of their research facilities in the Eastern South for a small project.
All right.
You want to ask some questions?
Yeah, there you go. I mean, I'm looking at what I tested.
How does working in water management affect how you see the local environment?
Yeah, so this is like the earlier question. I think that being aware of all the stakeholders and everything that is actually going on, all the people that are involved in managing a water body, water system, my eyes were open to that. I did not realize that I was in my bubble of science, but this is just one of the groups of people, right? So there is government, there is citizens, there is nature, there's So this was really an eye opener for me.
What kind of people study water management, in your opinion?
Oh, this is an interesting one. This one was not in the preparation that you sent me, but I think it's a good question. So, what kind of people? I think it's a lot of people that want to change something in the world. I think it's for people that are involved with their environment. So, they have a feeling of what's going on around them, and they feel like they could play a role in that. I think that's it's not everybody is like that, but I think the people who study water management are like that.
And do you see water management as a useful track for the future?
Oh yeah, definitely.
And why?
Well, so first of all, it's interesting. It teaches you a lot about the environment. So to be aware, that's a very important point for me, and I hope for the students as well. So just what's going on around me in the world. So like the animals, but also the technology and the engineering and everything, and the regulations and laws. So you have to. I think it's good that you know about it, but it's also super useful because we are dealing with water in our environment, and we want to live in a certain area. So we have to know how do we deal with this tension between where the water wants to go and where we want to go. It might be the same place. So water management is super useful for current living situations, but in with respect to sea level rise and maybe water use, changing water use and changing land use. Also for the future, this will always be a question that people will have: how to deal with water, and where do we get enough fresh water, and where do we